Ladies and gentlemen, heartbreak is one of the most powerful teachers life throws at us. It doesn't just hurt, it shatters. It pulls the ground from under your feet, crushes your confidence, and makes you question your worth. And sometimes it's not just love that's lost, it's your identity. But here's the truth. When she breaks your heart, you don't have to beg. You don't have to shrink. You don't have to chase what chose to leave. Instead, you rise. You rise so unapologetically, so fiercely, that the echo of your growth shakes the foundation of her ego. Heartbreak isn't your end. It may feel like it in the moment, like the world is caving in on itself, like every color you once saw has drained into gray. You wake up heavy, confused, and hollow, asking questions that don't have answers. You replay every moment, every word, wondering what you could have done differently. It's natural. It's human. But what you have to understand is this. Heartbreak doesn't destroy you. It exposes you. It exposes the parts of yourself that you abandoned while loving someone else. It exposes the illusions you held about love, about loyalty, about forever. And most importantly, it exposes your resilience. There's a version of you that only pain can unlock. A more grounded, focused, unstoppable version. That person doesn't show up during the good times. That person is forged in the fire, in the silence, the disappointment, and the rejection. That's where your real strength lives. And heartbreak is often the brutal guide that leads you to it. You won't see it right away. At first, all you'll feel is the emptiness, the space where they used to exist, the messages that don't come anymore, the plans that now mean nothing. But what fills that emptiness is up to you. You can drown in it, or you can build in it. Build a better mindset, build a stronger body, build a more stable and unshakable version of yourself. Let's be clear, heartbreak changes you, but not all change is bad. Sometimes life has to remove people who were never meant to stay, so you can remember who you were before them, or better yet, meet who you were always meant to become. Maybe you lost yourself in her. Maybe you compromised too much, gave too much, chased too hard, or stayed too long. It's okay to admit that. But once you do, take that pain and put it to use. Hit the gym when you don't feel like it. Work on your goals with tunnel vision. Develop the habits that push you closer to the man you admire. Let the heartbreak remind you of how deeply you can feel, but also how deeply you can focus. See, most people expect you to fall apart after heartbreak. They think you'll spiral, that you'll break down, beg, lose your edge, or lose your drive. But what if you didn't? What if you did the exact opposite? What if you evolved so powerfully that the version of you who loved her wouldn't even recognize the man you've become? That's not revenge. That's evolution. That's self-respect. That's turning heartbreak into motivation. The kind that doesn't fade in a week. The kind that turns you cold in the right way. Cold to drama, to distractions, to the noise, and warm only to purpose. And no, this doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop giving your energy to places that drain it. It means you stop proving your worth to people who never saw it. It means you let go. Not because you're weak, but because you're finally strong enough to choose yourself. You learn that love isn't always enough, and sometimes the biggest glow up is walking away, in silence, rebuilding privately, and becoming so unshakable that no loss ever unbalances you again. So let the pain come. Don't numb it. Don't rush through it. Sit with it, understand it, and then use it. Not to go back to who you were, but to step into someone even greater. Heartbreak isn't your end. It's the beginning of a better, more unstoppable you. Revenge isn't the answer. It's tempting, isn't it? When someone betrays you, when someone breaks your heart, when they walk away without remorse or replace you without hesitation, there's a part of you that burns, a part that wants them to feel the same pain they caused. You picture it, them seeing you with someone better, hearing about your success, regretting their choices. You want them to hurt the way you're hurting. That's normal. It's raw, it's human, it's real, but acting on that feeling doesn't lead to healing. It only leads to more emptiness. Revenge feels like power in the moment, but it always leaves you hollow after the dust settles, because deep down, you know it isn't about justice. It's about ego. You're trying to fill the void they left behind with validation, hoping that if they suffer, it'll ease your own suffering. But it doesn't work like that. Hurting someone else doesn't heal your own wounds. It just distracts you from them. And distraction is not the same as recovery. When you chase revenge, you're still attached. You're still controlled by their action. You're living in reaction to them, not in alignment with yourself. You're not moving forward. You're circling around the past, giving it more energy than it deserves. They've already taken enough from you. Your time, your trust, your heart. Don't let them take your future. Every minute you spend plotting how to get back at them is a minute you're not spending building yourself. Revenge keeps you chained to the moment they hurt you. Growth sets you free from it. People often think that showing someone they messed up means proving you're better, louder, richer, more successful. But true power isn't in proving anything. It's in not needing to. It's in waking up, moving forward, and no longer needing their recognition to feel whole. The person who hurt you doesn't deserve that much space in your story. They were a chapter, not the title. Let them go. Let your life expand beyond their reach. That's not weakness. That's strength. The kind of strength that revenge will never give you. Revenge also keeps you playing a game that has no winners. You hit, they hit back, and suddenly you've become a reflection of what hurt you. And that's the real loss. Becoming like the people you never wanted to. The more energy you give to anger, the more you stay stuck in the very moment you should be learning from. And life has a funny way of rewarding those who choose peace over pettiness. The ones who move in silence, who level up in private, who heal in places no one sees. Those are the ones who win in the end. You may never get the apology. You may never get closure. They may never admit what they did or feel the regret you hoped they would. But you don't need any of that. You are not owed anything from the people who walked away from you. What you owe is to yourself, your own evolution, your own healing, your own future. That is where your energy belongs. Not in revenge, but in rebuilding. The truth is, success is the answer. Peace is the answer. Silence is the answer. Becoming untouchable, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. That's the real victory. Revenge might feel good for a moment, but self-control feels good forever. Let them wonder, let them talk, let them watch as you become everything they never thought you could be, and do it without a single ounce of bitterness. That's how you win. Breaking her ego means proving her wrong without saying a word. It means rising from the ashes of heartbreak, not with loud declarations or empty threats, but with quiet, undeniable growth. There's no need for dramatic gestures or petty games. You don't have to broadcast your moves or throw shade online. You don't have to flex, call her out, or tell the world how much she hurt you. That's not power, that's reaction. And real strength doesn't react. It evolves. She might have walked away thinking you'd fall apart. Maybe she believed you'd chase, beg, or spiral. Maybe she thought you needed her to feel whole, like she was the best thing that ever happened to you. That belief isn't about love, that's ego. And when someone walks away with their ego high, they expect to look back and see you broken, stuck, and searching for closure. But when you don't give them that satisfaction, when you move differently, when you focus on your own elevation, instead of trying to impress or hurt them, that's when you shatter the illusion they had of you. The loudest response you can give is progress. The most painful truth they can witness is your silence, because silence speaks. It speaks volumes. It says, I don't need to argue. I don't need to prove. I'm too focused on my growth to be distracted by my past. And that silence is powerful. It leaves space for them to question, to wonder, to reflect. It forces them to deal with the reality that they were wrong about your worth, your strength, your potential. You prove her wrong, not by finding someone new or faking happiness, but by becoming the version of yourself that she never believed you could be. That version that doesn't need external validation. That version that knows his value, whether or not it's recognized. That version that uses heartbreak as fuel to level up, mentally, emotionally, physically. It's not about revenge or resent. It's about reclaiming your focus and refusing to stay stuck in a story that no longer serves you. Let your actions become your voice. Let your transformation do the talking. She'll hear it even if you never speak. She'll feel it in the distance you create, in the peace you carry, in the glow she never expected to see on your face again. And the best part, you won't even care if she notices or not, because breaking her ego isn't about her anymore. It's about you rising so far above what she thought you were, that her opinion no longer matters. There comes a moment when you realize that the best way to respond to being underestimated is not to convince someone of your worth. It's to become someone so grounded and focused that their opinion loses its weight. When you stop needing to be understood, when you stop chasing explanations or approval, you become free. And in that freedom, you break the hold they had on you, not by force, but by indifference. Ego feeds on attention, on reactions, on knowing it still matters. But when you stop responding, when you stop engaging in the emotional tug of war, that ego begins to starve, and nothing shakes someone more than realizing you don't care anymore, that you've grown, that you've healed, that you've moved on in a way they can't interrupt. That is how you prove her wrong, without ever raising your voice, without ever sending a message, without ever explaining yourself. Just live well, live wisely. Let your journey unfold in strength and peace. Let the man you're becoming speak for the boy she left behind. No need for noise, no need for revenge, just consistent growth, quiet confidence, and a future that doesn't include her. Focus on yourself. It sounds simple, almost cliche, but it holds a depth that many don't fully understand until they've lost themselves in someone else. When you're broken, betrayed, or left behind, the natural instinct is to look outward, to seek explanations, to obsess over what they're doing, to compare yourself to whoever they're with now. You waste energy scrolling through feeds, overthinking conversations, replaying memories that are no longer real. But none of that brings peace. None of it changes the outcome. The only thing it does is delay the most important thing you need to do. Turn in. When the world feels like it's slipping from your hands, focusing on yourself is how you take back control. It's not about being selfish or cold-hearted. It's about survival. It's about remembering that no one is coming to save you. No one is going to rebuild you. That responsibility is yours alone. And there's something powerful in owning that. You stop waiting for closure. You stop chasing answers. You stop giving people the power to define your worth. Instead, you reclaim your time, your energy, your direction. You start with the small thing. You hit the gym even when you don't feel like it, because discipline is louder than emotion. You clean your space, not because it fixes everything, but because a clear environment creates a clearer mind. You build new habits, reading, learning, creating, that shift your focus away from the past and into the present. And each time you show up for yourself, even in the smallest way, you begin to rebuild the trust that was lost when you gave too much of yourself to someone who didn't value it. Focusing on yourself means recognizing that your future is bigger than your pain. It means being honest about your flaws and doing the work to grow from them. Maybe you were too available, too forgiving, too dependent. Maybe you tied your happiness to someone who didn't deserve that kind of responsibility. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. But staying in that space, refusing to evolve, choosing to be bitter instead of better, that's a choice. And if you want your life to change, you have to make a different one. When you stop chasing and start building, you feel the shift. You stop worrying about who's watching or who's noticing. You realize that your real glow up isn't for them, it's for you. You stop caring about who moved on first, who seems happier, or who's pretending, because deep down, you know peace isn't found in winning a race. They don't even know they're running. Peace is found in the quiet moments where you know you're healing, evolving, and no longer anchored to the past. The world doesn't owe you anything, but you owe yourself everything. You owe it to yourself to become the person you wish someone else would have seen. You owe it to yourself to stop making excuses and start making progress. You owe it to yourself to become so grounded, so focused, so self-aware that no loss, no matter how painful, can ever take you out of alignment again. When you focus on yourself, life begins to open up in ways you never expect. You attract better people, better opportunities, and most importantly, a better mindset. You don't just move on, you level up. You create a life so full, so purpose-driven, that the person you were before heartbreak feels like a distant memory. That is the power of focusing on yourself. It doesn't just heal you, it transforms you. Let go of begging or bitterness. It's easier said than done, especially when your heart is shattered and your pride has been crushed. When someone you loved walks away, or chooses someone else, or treats you like you were never enough, the urge to beg for another chance can be overwhelming. You think if you say the right words, show enough vulnerability, or remind them of everything you shared, maybe they'll change their mind. But the truth is, the moment you start begging, you lose the little dignity you have left. You place your worth in someone else's hands, hoping they'll return it to you, but more often than not, they won't. Begging doesn't fix anything. It doesn't restore love that's already gone. It doesn't bring back respect that's already lost. All it does is show the other person that they have control, that you're willing to sacrifice your self-respect just to be close to them again. And anyone who truly values you wouldn't put you in that position. Love is not something you should ever have to convince someone to give. If it's not offered freely, it's not real. Bitterness, on the other hand, is the armor we put on after rejection. It's the anger we carry when we've given our best and still ended up alone. It's the resentment that builds when we feel unappreciated, betrayed, or replaced. Bitterness convinces you that all love is fake, that no one can be trusted, and that everyone is out to hurt you. But carrying that bitterness only poisons you. It keeps you trapped in a cycle of blame and negativity. It eats away at your joy, your hope, your future relationship. You become guarded, defensive, and cold, not because you want to be, but because you're trying to protect yourself from ever feeling that kind of pain again. But here's the thing, letting go isn't about them, it's about letting go of begging means choosing your self-worth over someone's approval. Letting go of bitterness means choosing your peace over your pride. Neither is easy, both require deep reflection and uncomfortable honesty. You have to accept that closure might never come, that the apology you're waiting for might never be said, that the person who hurt you might move on without a second thought. And that's okay, because your healing doesn't depend on them, it depends on you. You have to learn to give yourself what they couldn't: love, validation, consistency, and care. You have to become your own source of strength, not just during the heartbreak, but long after it. Letting go is not weakness, it's power. It means you're no longer willing to shrink yourself for someone who couldn't see your value. It means you're choosing growth over resentment, progress over pettiness, and self-respect over desperation. In the end, what you beg to keep today will often be the very thing you're grateful you lost tomorrow, and the bitterness that feels so justified now will only weigh you down if you carry it too long. You don't need to prove anything to the person who left. You don't need to hope they regret it or wish them pain. You just need to heal, focus, and keep building a life that feels good with or without them in it. That's how you win, by walking away with your head high and your heart intact, refusing to be defined by the loss, and knowing deep down that what's meant for you will never require begging or bitterness. Become the version of yourself she never believed in, and never let her back in. That's not about revenge, ego, or trying to prove a point. It's about unlocking the potential that was always in you, the version of yourself you may have suppressed, doubted, or forgotten, while trying to make her stay. Maybe she said you weren't ambitious enough, not emotionally mature enough, not strong or stable enough. Maybe she left because she didn't see the man you were becoming, only the man you were in that moment. That's her choice, but now it's yours to decide who you'll become without her. Pain has a strange way of showing you what comfort never could. When you're comfortable, you settle, you become soft. In places where you should be sharpening, you compromise in ways that chip away at your identity. You say yes to things that drain you, just to avoid conflict or loss. But when someone you loved chooses to leave, or tells you, directly or indirectly, that you're not enough, you're faced with a decision: crumble or evolve. You either let that moment define your limits, or you let it become the ignition switch for your next level. Start with the mindset. Refuse to be the version of yourself that waits for validation. Refuse to depend on someone's approval to feel worthy. Train your mind to be disciplined, focused, and unshakable. Let her doubt become your silence. Let her absence become your fuel. Not because you're trying to show her, but because you're finally doing what you should have done all along, becoming the man you were always capable of being. Every time you feel that urge to look back, to check her page, to wonder if she's watching, redirect that energy. Use it to learn, to lift, to grow, to work. Build the kind of discipline that doesn't disappear when no one's clapping for you. Create a routine that respects your goals. Educate yourself, surround yourself with real ones, and eliminate everything that drains your energy or feeds your weakness. You're not trying to return to who you were before her. You're trying to surpass everything she ever thought was possible for you. And when you finally feel that growth, when your confidence is internal, not performative, when your goals are in motion, not just on paper, when your peace is protected, not negotiated, you'll understand something powerful. She no longer belongs in the future you'll build. She left because she couldn't see it, and that's okay, but don't let her walk back in when it's convenient, when the glow up is visible, when the results start speaking. The door has to stay closed, not out of spite, but out of respect for the man you've become. Letting her back in would mean returning to a chapter that already ended. It would mean ignoring the lesson life taught you in the most painful way. Growth isn't just about becoming better, it's about recognizing what you can't afford to go back to. You can forgive, you can wish her well, but you owe it to yourself to protect your evolution. That means keeping your space clean of anything that once made you question your value. That means making peace with the past and leaving it where it belongs. So become that version, the one she never believed in, the one you almost forgot existed. And when she sees it, and she will, let her watch from a distance. Let her feel what it's like to lose access to something extraordinary, not because you changed out of pain, but because you finally chose yourself. And this time, you're not turning back.